So shalom, everyone. So we're going to begin our davening on page 99 in your Siddur. So if you have a red Siddur, great. If not, again, you can go to the bethmar.org website. Look for live stream. What's up?
Sometimes the pages vary.
Right, it is true. Sometimes the pages do vary, so we'll do our best. We will help guide you. We can do some early Birchot HaShachar. Thank God for making here this morning. And then we're going to move forward. So we'll do our best to guide you. If you have a red Siddur, it'll be great. We're going to be on page 99 with Modeh and Moda'ani. And from there, we will guide you through in a creative davening, including Yisker this morning. It's good to see everyone.
Moda'ani
lefanecha melech hai v'kayam shechazarta b'nishmati mehem la Rabba emunate So Chag Sameach, everyone, good Yantif. We're going to begin next on page 103 with Birchot HaShachar. All of these things are connected to actions, body actions, basically. It's one is recognizing night from day, making us in God's image, each and one of us, really our soul, giving a chance to be free people. This is a chance actually that we could wake up and kind of extend ourselves and feel free. So each one of these opportunities, when we gird ourselves for strength, the idea is we put on a belt in the morning, feel we're getting stronger with our muscles. All of them opportunities to really get in touch with our body, to feel our body and feel it as an opportunity for gratitude. You know, even if our body doesn't always work as easily or has more pains than normal, you know, as we age a little bit, it's a chance for opportunity for gratitude. So page 103, we continue with Birchot HaShachar.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sachvi bina להבחין בין יום ובין לילה.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani b'tzalmo.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani bat kori.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam פוקח עברי.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam roga haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam המכין מצעדי גבר.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שעשה לי כל צורכי.
Amen. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוזר ישראל בגבורה.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam עוטר ישראל בתפארה.
Amen. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם הנותן לי אהב כוח. Amen. So, Chaver, we're now going to turn to the Baruch Hu. We know that not everyone's easily able to turn east. If you're able to do so, we invite you to rise and to turn east, if possible. If not, you can stay in front of your computer. Don't worry, it's not an issue. The Baruch Hu is our call to prayer. So we're gathering together on the screen and gathering in a shamas together as well. From page 149 in the Siddur, slight bow for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch hu et Adonai Mevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. So, Chaver, we're going to turn now to the prayer before Shema Yisrael, page 154. It's customary for those wearing a talit to grab the 4 tzitziot together, bind them as one. The Shema is not really a prayer per se. I know we're praying. People say it's the prayer, the famous prayer. Well, yes, but it's a statement. It's a statement of faith. On page 155, we're going to lead into it from 154, a prayer of love, God's love. And amazingly, in that prayer, it talks about God's love giving the Torah, which is appropriate for Shavuot. God showed us love by giving us the Torah. We bring these tzitzit together, tzitziot together, to remember that God is one, even in a world where it seems divided and dual and multifaceted. It's all behind it. There's a oneness behind it. So we bring that through love of Torah and God's gift of Torah, leading into Shema Yisrael. וקרבתנו לשמך גרוסה באמת, להודות לך, הולכתך מימה. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר במו ישראל, ביהבה. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך וכל נפשך וכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלתך בדרך, ושופך וקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם ביתך וישרף. I'll continue the next two paragraphs after the Shema on page 156. Vayim Shemot Yishmos Shnochi Netzavet Lavanu Tzachem Very much in more the base. למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן. So after the Shema, we turn to the prayer of redemption. It's the time of our freedom, leading us to receive the Torah on Shavuot. We had to be free from Egypt. We turn to page 158, about 10 lines from the bottom, 15 lines or so. Tehilot le'el Elyon.
תהילות לאל עליון ברוך וברך משה ומרים בני ישראל. לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם.
מי עמך בהם אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נוראתי לו דוסף אלה.
שירה חדשה שבחרו גדולים לשמך שפת הים יחד כולם. וטובים לכו ויאמרו
Adonai imlo leolam va'eh. Please rise if you're able. Yisrael
Kuma be'erzat Yisrael Utechenu becha Yehuda ve'Yisrael Go'aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch Adonai God Yisrael.
Amen. So, Chevre, with the Siddur, our Lev Shalem, it's page 306 in our Siddurim. It's to move for the special festival Amidah for Shacharit, for the morning davening. This, we will begin together from 306 to 308 together through the Kedusha. Rest will be done silently. And remember, insertion special for Shavuot. Zman Matan Torah, the time of giving of the Torah. And again, take your time to offer your own prayers. There's much to pray for here this Shavuot. Not only gratitude for the Torah and for community, for COVID coming to a new place, for vaccines, but also we're holding deeply what's happening in Israel in our hearts. We're here davening here in North Carolina, but a lot of us here are, or not all of us, are holding our prayers for safety and security for all those suffering, sadly, in Israel and the territories right now. It's very, very difficult and painful. So prayers as well for peace. So begin together. Rabbi Jenny will lead us, beginning page 306, 308. Rest is done silently.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufia tehillatech Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elokei avotenu imotenu Elokei Avraham Elokei Yitzchak Elokei Yaakov Elokei Sarah Elokei Rivka Elokei Rachel Elokei Leah האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומר חסדים טובים וגונע הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ופוקד משיח ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני בחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטל מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים שמח נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בגבורות ומדומה לך מלך ממית ומחייב ומצליח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מלך המתים נקדש שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב היה נביאך וקרא זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול מנסים לעומת צרפים לעומתם ברוך יאמרו
ברוך כבוד אדוני
ממקומך מלכנו תופיע ותמלוך עלינו כי מחכים אנחנו לה מתי תמלוך בציון בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון תתקדש ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך לדור ודור ונצח נצחים בינינו תראה מלכותך כדבר אמור בשירי עוזך על ידי דוד משיח צדקך ימלוך
אדוני עולם עלייך ציון לדור ודור הללויה
לדור ודור נגיד לך ולנצח נצחים קדושך נטיש ושפחך אלוהינו מפיו משתה עולם ועד כי על מלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש
Shavuot Service. Torah, 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 Hallelujah. Torah, 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 Torah. Hallelujah. Page 316, we're going to begin some Hallel, celebration of Shavuot. Some selections from Hallel, so feel free to join us, page 316, or wherever your Siddur is. You can follow along. Some of the melodies and psalms we'll choose here, I think, are pretty widely known, so hopefully you'll be able to join in as best you can. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu likro et hallel, bottom 316. B'tzeit Yisrael mitzrayim v'yaro amlo hayda Yehuda lekosho Yisrael mamshlotav hayam rabbi yanos hayarden yisov le'aho Eharim rangat lukelim givaot kivnei tzum, bottom 317. Adonai zicharani varech arech et beit Yisrael arech et beit Aaron arech yireh Adonai Agnanim imad gedolim Yosef Adonai alechem alechem v'yavnechem ve'ochim atem l'Adonai oseh shamayim ba'aretz shamayim shamayim l'Adonai ve'aretz natan libnei adam lo hametim yihalelu Hallelujah ve'loko yodei אנחנו נברך ואתה ויד עולם ואתה עד עולם Hallelujah. Page 319 at the top. Hodu l'Adonai kitov le'olam hazo yomarna Yisrael yomruna ve'daron yomruna yirei Adonai le'olam hasdo. We now come to the bottom of page 320 for the focus of Hallel, asking God for success and for saving us, literally saving us. Please, God, for saving us in the challenges of our life here and world and challenge, COVID, of course, but also for peace and shalom. Feeling it so much, we just really need beyond not only our help and people's help, but God to give wisdom to those leaders and military leaders to do everything we can to not only protect us, but to bring us safety and to bring us peace. Ana Adonai Hoshia.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Adonai Hatzlichana.
Adonai Hatzlichana.
Adonai Hatzlichana.
Adonai Hatzlichana. Include Hallel on page 321 at the top. כי לך טוב להודות לשמך נאה לזמר כי מעולם עד עולם אתה אל ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מהולל בתשמחו.
Amen.
So page 321, Kaddish Shalem. Typically, if we were in shul, we'd be actually laning some of the book of Ruth, the most unbelievable story of Ruth, really the star, but also Naomi, her mother-in-law. Ruth shows her commitment to the Jewish people, takes on the Torah essentially. That's why it's read on Shavuot, because it's a statement of a person who grabs onto the Torah and follows Naomi, even when she doesn't have to. She chooses to follow the Jewish law, Jewish practice, and the Jewish people. And famous lines like, where you go, I will go, where you'll be buried, I will buried, basically kind of commits herself to ultimate commitment to cleaving to the Jewish people and the Torah. So that is a chanting. Now, what we have is we have a video recording of that Kathy put together, and some actually people here on this on our davening here have done it. I think Susan Ehrlich is part of it too. I believe so. So if you go to Beth Meyer, the YouTube channel, you can find that and feel free to enjoy that on Shavuot after the service concludes. You can look for YouTube Beth Meyer Synagogue and then look for Shavuot and Book of Ruth, and you'll see a beautiful laning of that. We're going to continue now with Kaddish Shalem into Yizkor in a moment. So page 321, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתגדל שמי רבה,
אמן.
ועמד דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, וחיי כל המכון, ובחי את כל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב וימרו.
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורא, לעולם ומעמה יתברך.
יפרח וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה.
בריחו.
לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ונאמרו.
אמן.
תתקבץ לטוב ובטון לכל ישראל, קדם אבון דוד וישמע ויאמרו.
אמן.
יהי שנם הרב בן שמעיה, וחיים עלינו בכל ישראל ויאמרו.
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו בכל ישראל.
ועל כל יושבי תבל.
ויאמרו.
Amen. So, Chaver, it's this time, we would typically have a Torah service. We're not going to have our traditional Torah service, but we're going to have a Torah time here with Yizkor. So, if you'd like to open your Sidurim and turn to page 330 in the red Lev Shalem, we will begin Yizkor. But the truth is, you're not going to require Siddur for this. We'll spend a lot of the time really with our hearts and our souls and gathering the souls of people we love. So in our custom and minhag at Beth Myers, we're going to take time to really bring in and hold on to the people we're holding in our hearts this Yizkor. So before we do that formally, we're going to take time for that, for meditation and reflection, for thinking and imagining the people we're holding in our hearts. Some people in this, I know directly, are in the year of mourning, in fact. Some of us, the loved ones we're holding in our hearts, have been sadly no longer in this earth for many, many years. We're holding all of them. And I want to offer this little Shavuot Yizkor Kavanah as we pull them close. There's so many beautiful midrashim and teachings about Shavuot and giving the Torah. Not just what's written in Torah in Exodus 19 and 20, but really beyond that. And one is that the first mitzvah that was given, the first of the 10 commandments and statements of the Aser that he wrote, is Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am Adonai your God. That is the first commandment, so to speak, or first statement, is that I am God. And the first word of Anochi, and we discussed this on the Tikkun a little bit, if those that joined us that night, a couple nights ago, is the word letter Aleph. And Anochi, Aleph. And that first letter Aleph, we know, actually has no sound. So the first of the 10 commandments, the most important part of the Torah, actually has no sound at all. It's just the sound of the mouth opening, about to say a letter. And according to the Midrash, that some interpret that that's all that was really said, is all that God did is God just opened as if God's mouth of Aleph, and the rest was commentary. It's as if God just didn't even whisper. It's like just gave that little piece, and that completely transmitted everything. Just that opening the mouth communicated something to Moshe and to our people that was beyond words. I think that's why that's powerful for many reasons, but one of them is that the Torah is filled with words. Our tradition is so filled with so many words, overwhelmed with words. Our prayer service, so many words. But in the end, one of the interpretations is that no words were communicated. It was just a feeling. It was an interaction. It was a connection That's more than words that God gave to Moses and gave to our people. Just this contact, beyond words contact. And why do I bring that into Yizkor? Because in Yizkor, we hold people close to us that I imagine, if not for all of us, certainly many of us, that person gave us a lot, or people give us a lot of important words. In fact, we can hear the words. I can hear the words of certain people in my life who I miss dearly. I can hear their words at times when I'm not necessarily thinking about it, but also at times when I'm in a tough moment, or a moment of decision, or a moment of struggle, or a moment, what would this person say? I can almost hear it, what they would say. It's that their words are clear, like a Torah. And then there's the part of them that's beyond words, like the smell of my grandfather's jacket when I would give him a hug, may rest in peace, or the taste of my grandmother's matzo ball soup, or that feeling of the hug from a very dear friend of mine who is no longer with us when I would see him. It's that other senses that Shavuot's about. It's not just about giving the Torah in words. It's about God giving us that feeling that God cares and God was transmitting. Just like people we love transmitted much more than just words to us. They transmitted a feeling. They transmitted things beyond words. So I invite you to take some time now. Some of you'd like to just close your eyes. Some I invite to put your talit over your head, like to focus. And to take a moment to imagine the people who you're holding in your heart. And to think in what ways not only they transmitted words to you, like a Torah, but what's beyond words they transmitted to you that you're grateful for too. And to bring all of that into our Yizkor prayers, which will continue just a few moments after a few moments of silence on page 330. Adonai, ma adam v'tedehu, ben enosh v'tichashvehu. Adonai, what are human beings that you take account of them? Mortals that you care for them? Humans are as a breath, their days like a passing shadow. In the morning they flourish anew, in the evening they shrivel and die. Teach us to count each day that we may acquire a heart of wisdom. On this Shavuot, some of us recall parents who gave us life, who cared for us and nurtured us, who taught us to take our first steps on our own. Some of us remember a wife, husband, or partner, our friend and lover, with whom we shared so much of our lives, our failures and achievements, joys and sorrows, intimate secrets. Some of us recall brothers and sisters who matured together with us, sometimes competing with us, and sometimes encouraging us on, bound to us by a lifelong relationship. Some of us remember children entrusted to us too briefly, to whom we gave our loving care and from whom we received a trust that enriched our lives. Their memory is always with us. Many of us recall relatives who knew us, teachers who affected us, and beloved friends who walked beside us in life, guiding us, listening to us, supporting us. Our lives are shaped by those who were alongside us as we walked on our path. May our inheritance impel us to strive to live lives of holiness and service. May memories of love inspire us to love. May painful memories impel us to mitigate the pain others experience. And may we be granted the strength to affirm life's meaning, even in the face of death. We now turn to an opportunity for each of us on page 335 to offer our individual prayers, Yisker prayers, meaning we insert here those who we're holding close to us, what relationship we have specifically. So invite us quietly if you'd like to either follow traditional prayers or just to say who your person or persons are who you're holding in your heart at this time before we begin the El Malay Racham. This time we invite you to rise. On page 336, as Rabbi Jenny will offer El Malay Rachamim in honor of not only all those that we are holding here in our congregation, but all those who have served our country, United States, died in service of our country, all those in the state of Israel died in acts of terror, those who serve in the Israel Defense Forces, all those who've died in Jewish history as martyrs, in the Shoah, sadly those who've died just for simply being Jewish, due to anti-Semitism, other times. We hold them all in our heart as we offer El Malay Rachamim, page 336.
El Malay Rachamim, שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה, תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלת קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, לנשמות כל אלה שהזכרנו היום לברכה, שהלכו לעולמם, בגן עדן תהי מנוחתם. אנא בעל הרחמים, הסירם בסתר כנפך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבותיהם, ונאמר Amen.
So, Chaver, in a moment, we're going to recite the Mourner's Kaddish. Before we do so, since we have a Hamish group here, I want to invite, if you'd like to feel comfortable, to either in the chat to write the names of those who you are holding your heart this Yisker, and perhaps if you'd like the relationship you have with that person, or if you'd like, you can unmute yourself, and if you'd like to say it out loud, we'd be honored to hear the names of those who you are holding in your heart. So what we'll do now is we'll invite those who don't want to say it out loud, but would prefer to place in the chat, invite you to place in the chat, and Rabbi Jen and I will read it. And those that would feel comfortable saying it out loud, then I just invite you to maybe, I think it's called raising your hand. Is that the right thing? Or do they have that reaction?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can either raise your hand, then we will call on you if you'd like to say them out loud. So feel free to, or put a reaction like a thumbs up of something or something that we know that we will call on you to say it out loud if you wish. If not, so at this time, please put in the chat. I see Steve. Okay, so I will now start to read out what it says here for Lynn and Art Sandberg, are specifically holding their hearts and remembering Art for his father, Saul Sandberg. And I'm calling on Steve Hamill. You, Steve, like to say who you're holding?
Sure. My mother, Ernestine Erkin, my father, Simon Ehrlich Hamill, and my brother, Lee Marvin Hamill.
May they rest in peace. I'm also seeing here that Lynn added for Lynn Sandberg, Lynn for her parents, Lucille and Sam Zavadnik, and her brother, Stephen Zavadnik. May they rest in peace. Sherry Shapiro offers my father, GT, my brother, Guy, my brother, Richard. May they all rest in peace. Is there anyone else who would like to offer specific names? You can, yeah, I see Susan Ehrlich raising her hand. That's fine. Susan, yes.
My mother, Sybil Ehrlich, died this year, and holding her very close.
May she rest in peace. Yeah, I guess you just raise your hand in the screen and we'll call on you if you'd like. Anyone else like to mention any names specific? Okay, so those that are holding names in their heart, I see David Glass offered my father, Hyman Glass, my mother, Dorothy Glass, Jerome Hurwitz, and Barbara Pittman. May they rest in peace. So we invite all those who wish to rise for Mourners Kaddish, specifically for Yizkor, page 338. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Barach Leolam Ome Almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kodesha.
Brichu.
Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, yamiran b'yalma v'yamru.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya, b'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru.
Amen.
Amen. We invite you to remain standing, or those that are staying to continue standing. We're going to turn back now to page 205 for Aleinu L'Shabeach. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, Lateh Gdula Le'yotzei Breshit, Shelo asanu k'yirei aratzot, Ve'lo asamanu Adama, Shelo sam chalkeinu kahen, ויאור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. נאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. So friends, we're going to recite the Mourners Kaddish one more time. So I want to add here, I noted here that Alan Blumberg is holding close to his heart his mother and father, Rosalind and Stanley Blumberg. If there's anyone else that did not have a chance to place in the chat or would like to say the names of those who they're holding in their heart this time, feel free to raise your hand physically or to place it in the chat. And we'll call on you. Okay. So we're going to recite the Mourners Kaddish in the conclusion of our service, page 207. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. בעגלה, בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן.
אמן.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה
בריחו.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
אמן.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו. הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. You may be seated, everyone. Chag Sameach, everyone. Chag Sameach. This is the conclusion of our Shavuot morning davening on Zoom. May all those who are holding in our heart, may they rest in peace, and may memories always be for a blessing. Just a reminder of, again, for Shavuot, we have the Book of Ruth. You can get that online. We have beautiful who laned selections from the Book of Ruth, which is just an amazing story. Feel free over the course of this day to just enjoy reading the book itself. It's just a short read and a beautiful story about grabbing to the Torah, a great model. Just want to grab and cling to the Torah. Of course, we have davening Wednesday night minyan at 7. We have Sunday morning, of course, at 7. Yes, at 7. And Sunday morning at 9. We have Shavuot services, of course, 8 o'clock, Kabbalat Shabbat, as well as 9:30 will become the bat mitzvah of Zoe Newerth will be the Shabbat, which is such a blessing. We all know that we are in the process with these exciting changes in our mask or not mask, all that stuff. Stay tuned with Susan Ehrlich's help and others. We will be gathering together in our task force. I think it's even this week, or next week, I don't remember anymore. It's next week, okay, next week. And we're making some decisions, hopefully, about more opportunities to daven in person. I think this is an exciting next step in our journey, but we're gonna have to balance all the complexities, as you imagine. We appreciate your patience. So hopefully that will be soon, maybe by 1 or 2 Shabbos from now, we'll have a new practice. Remember meetings this Thursday at 7:30. We have our informational meeting for the shul. And then June 7th, we have our Monday. It's a voting meeting. So come to those and learn about all the different things coming up: budget, bylaws, new board, structure, rabbi stuff. Take a look at it. We'll be excited to have everyone participate in that as well. Anything else I'm missing here, Rabbi Jay?
Good.
Susan, anything you want to add? Did I miss anything? It sounded like I covered it all? Okay, great. So with that, we're going to conclude with Kiddush. Rabbi Jay's going to lead us in Kiddush, and we'll have a chance to schmooze.
Savi.
L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hakafen.
Amen. So everyone, good Yantif. We're going to let you stay on if you'd like to come and just schmooze a little bit. Definitely have some cheesecake and some dairy.
If you can tolerate it.
If you can tolerate it. We had such an amazing Shavuot. I hope those enjoy the tikkun. I think the tikkun was recorded. It was awesome. The Jewish farming panel was amazing. And stay tuned with Deborah Goldstein. She's fired up for some cool stuff at the shul. How we can continue integrating our farming with the awesome well-fed garden and other stuff. If you haven't heard about it, check out the video. It's just amazing of what's possibly happening here in the future. And that's it. So feel free to unmute yourself. We can schmooze a little bit and wish each other a Chag Sameach. Our service is concluded.